Hello, students. I wanted to go ahead and do our fad diets since we have a lot of material to continue covering. So here we are. Let's see here. Okay, I can almost guarantee if you really think about it, you probably have heard of at least 3 fad diets in the last week or two. Well, we want to not only discuss a couple of the popular fad diets right now, but also just what exactly is a fad diet. It's the description that I give it is a quick fix weight loss solution. Some of the popular ones out there, there's a ton. We have the Atkins, the South Beach, Zone, grapefruits, tonics, cabbages, detoxes, so on and so forth. HCGC. I mean, there's just so much out there. You can go ahead and probably think of 4 more or 5 more than what I just listed there. So the characteristics of a fad diet are that promise of quick weight loss, cure all. The other characteristic would be limited food selections, testimonials from famous people. Like I said, cure-alls. You have to purchase something for it to work. No real permanent change. They have a time limit on their change. And they are always really critical or very skeptical towards the scientific community, usually. Some of the different types of fad diets include our restricted carbohydrate approach. So Atkins would be an example of that. Restricting a low fat approach or restricting food approach. And then there's combinations like phases. The South Beach was one that was a really big deal a couple of years ago. And there's phase 1 that's extremely restrictive. And then phase 2, you can have a little bit more food. And then phase 3 is, just a general healthy eating plan. But you start out very strict in the different phases. Some of the problems with our lower carbohydrate diets is they contain little to no fruit and vegetables and whole grains. That's where our fiber comes from, our antioxidants and vitamins, minerals. There's so much in fruits and vegetables. Another way to really identify a fad diet would be they just completely eliminate a food group. Just like what I'm saying here, fruit is just completely gone from certain low carbohydrate diets. They're also not intended for long-term usage. They're usually pretty short-term and excessive intake from animal fats. So the Atkins diet, for example, one of the big issues with it is instead of eating carbs, you are filling up on animal fat. So bacon is all game. You had 3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon and 2 pieces of cheese for breakfast, but it was low carb, so go you. But how much saturated fat was in that meal, that one meal? And cholesterol. Also, with our lower carbohydrate approach, you may experience reduced exercise capacity. Some people do not fare well when it comes to a reduced carb approach. Advantages, it does help with blood sugar control. You're likely to be less hungry on this diet, and you will lose weight. You'll lose a lot of weight on the front end, but I will have to say that's water weight. Some of our lower fat diets, they emphasize nutrient-dense foods. They lower risk, this is the advantages, lower risk for diseases. So getting rid of those saturated fats, trans fats, and cholesterol. Disadvantages, fat is filling. Without fat, we do not feel as full longer. I don't know about this one, flatulence on lower fat diets. I'm not quite for sure about that. Possible mineral absorption that is impaired because fat helps with absorption of vitamins and minerals. You're reducing food choices. It can be difficult to maintain, can be costly, and can impact insulin resistance. Restricted food diets. Oh, so this is you're just really cutting it down. This is not something that someone can maintain for a long period of time. It can, in fact, help for a short amount of time, but inevitably, once they go back to eating a normal pattern, they'll regain their weight and start that yo-yo dieting. So some of the words that will help you spot these fad diets and frauds and quackery and whatnot, ancient. It's a breakthrough, magical, miraculous, mysterious. It's a new discovery. Green tea, when it was just, it was amazing. It was all you had to do was drink a few cups of green tea and everything would improve. You don't even have to it's easy, and it'll cure your diabetes. It'll cure this, quick, secret. All of those words are just a way of really seeing that this is not scientific, evidence-based dietary approach. So I do want to go ahead and review some of the current fad diets out there just so that you're equipped to know a little bit about them when people ask. So I have some notes. I want you to know these. So the diet, first one is Atkins. And I wanted to discuss this in class, but instead I just created a list of things I wanted you to know. The Atkins, created by a cardiologist for his patients with heart disease. The Atkins diet is very, very low in carbohydrate intake. Ketogenic diet is another very, very low carbohydrate intake, but I will say the ketogenic diet, even when I was in school, it was most known and discovered for its impact on seizures in children. And so a ketogenic diet was originally created to treat seizures. We also have alkaline diet. I don't know a whole lot about this, except that it's designed to balance the body's pH system, since our body's pH is clearly not balancing itself. Then there's different types. This is not necessarily a fad diet, but it's good to know the different types of vegans or vegetarians. Vegan is absolutely positively no animal products whatsoever, not just meat, but no cheese and dairy. No eggs, completely no vegan, or no animal whatsoever is known as vegan. It's pretty popular due to the Tom Brady is a, ladies like him. He's pretty in the spotlight right now and has talked about the vegan diet. Other types of vegetarians would be the ovo-vegetarian. They don't eat anything from an animal except for eggs. Lacto-ovo would be they don't eat anything from an animal except for eggs and dairy, so they do have milk and cheese and eggs. There's also a vegetarian who eats only fish, and that's the only animal product that it has, that this type of vegetarian has, and that's a pescatarian, or also known as a pescotarian. I already told you about the South Beach diet. Is characterized in 3 phases of super strict, medium, and then back to normal. We also have a zone diet. This one's not as popular anymore. I believe Rachel Aniston was who made this a big deal many years ago from Friends. I think that's her name. Anyway, it's more about ratio dieting. It's the 40-30-30 approach, 40% carb, 30% protein, and 30% fat. Let's see here. Oh, this is a really good one that's out there a lot right now. The paleo diet. Eat like a caveman. If you can hunt, gather, and grow it, you can eat it. That's paleo. So then we also have the Whole30. This is removing potential inflammatory foods and drinks from your diet. The motto for that is really, when in doubt, leave it out. You're going back to unprocessed foods, nothing that would possibly cause inflammation in your body. I was trying to think of what else. We have those online dieting systems, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. Those are all online. And then we also have where we can go into metabolic diet centers. We have one at UAMS where they help people drastically lose weight. Then there's actually a diet that I really truly think it's a pretty good one, and would be the Mediterranean diet. It's really seen to help with heart, because people who are eating this way in different countries tend to have lower cardiovascular risk. Some things to remember about it is, they have quite a bit of seafood type in it, healthier seafoods, grains, fruits, vegetables. And they say extra virgin olive oil, EVOO is good, and wine in moderation. So they are the wine drinkers in it all. And then another one that's actually has some science behind it, actual diet, is the DASH diet. Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. And that is to help with lowering both systolic and diastolic blood pressures. And so there's quite a bit to that. It's actually in textbooks because it has been proven to work. One thing I'd want to make mention that is in fact a problem would be if you focus too much on weight loss versus a lifestyle intervention and changing your life, and changing your approach and your view on food and having a healthy relationship with food, you can in fact develop eating disorders. So eating disorders are different than our disordered eating pattern of just not eating well, but eating disorders are actually the anorexia, the bulimia, and other unclassified eating disorders. So it's better to go about the lifestyle intervention rather than lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And that's something I really talk with clients and patients about, is if your only goal is to move that scale, then you're inevitably not going to last very long. Versus if you go into it thinking, I want to be there longer for my kids, my grandkids, I just want to be able to hike up Pinnacle without being out of breath. You know, you set different type of tangible goals that have more meaning, then more than likely you will succeed, or you have a higher chance to succeed from what I've seen. So what about me? What does a dietitian do anyway? I mean, why do we even have a job? I've been told before my job is useless, which is not true. I've changed many people's lives and approaches. It's just, they think, well, I can go on the internet and see everything. Well, we've seen what the internet has for us, even in stevia. It's good for you. Well, sorry, it causes cancer in the same Google. What we actually do in a clinical setting, for example, is a nutrition-focused medical exam to detect malnutrition. We aren't necessarily going in to just teach everybody how to lose weight and change their heart health and things like that. We are mostly focused in a clinical setting on malnutrition. And if we can help identify that malnutrition early, we can actually decrease length of stays, increase patient outcomes to be more positive, less likely to have readmits or within 30 days, which really hurts when it comes to the pocketbook of reimbursements. So the dietitian is a great team member to decrease medical costs, increase the patient quality and their health overall, and just their ability to heal and get back outside of the hospital. So, and then here's a couple other things and what all we can do. So you can read that on your own. We have our PES statements, our diagnosis, our interventions, but before any of that, we have to assess. And then after we launch something and have it in progress, we have to monitor it and evaluate to see if we need to continually make changes to our nutrition intervention and how we can best help patients. So examples of conditions that we can really help with. I could pull this right from the academy. I just want to share that with you guys. All right, so I hope you're watching this or have watched this before the next time I see you. This is all testable material, including the fad diets that I reviewed. Have a great evening. Thanks for listening to me. I will see you soon, or I'll talk at you soon.